If you have been struggling to get sales from your design work or understanding what you really need to do to make money, I have the workshop for you. On September 23rd, I'm hosting my first ever Profitable Designer Workshop. This 1 day, 3 hour workshop is only $97, but I have a discount for all my podcast listeners. Go to carinagardnercourses.com/profit and put in the code podcast for $50 off. I can't wait to see you more profitable. Welcome to the Make and Design Podcast. I'm your host, Carina Gardner. On this podcast, we're unraveling the everyday joys and dilemmas of design, making, and business. For makers who want to be designers and for designers who are makers, this is your inside scoop to help you grow your business and bring more creativity to your life. Hey guys, today on the podcast episode, I am so excited. We've got Kiley Ferons. She caught my eye because she has an awesome digital magazine, done amazing things with her patterns. It's so good to have you on, Kiley. I'm going to have you start out by just introducing yourself.
Sure. I am Kiley Ferons, and I have been quilting now for about 12 years. I married into a quilting family, so that's how I got started. My mother-in-law kind of was like, you have to make a quilt for your new baby. And I was like, do I? and and then it just kind of never stopped from there. So my business has changed a little bit over the years and evolved with what I've been interested in. So I'm excited to talk about that with you guys.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about owning a creative business. So many of you are trying to build design businesses or memberships or any number of things. And I love Kiley because she is doing so many cool, new, creative things. So, Kiley, will you talk to us about the two businesses that you actually participate in and own right now?
Yeah. So I first started Kiley's Quilt Room, which is where I wrote and published quilt pattern designs. And then I started Modish Quilter, which is a digital magazine for modern quilters. And I really try to gear both of my businesses towards modern quilters. I feel like as a fairly young quilter, I get a lot of weird looks and questions all the time when I tell people what I do. And they all say, oh, quilting, isn't that like a grandma hobby or, whatever. I'm like, look, quilting is for everyone. It's an art form and it's a way to express yourself. And I really try to gear everything towards more modern, younger quilters, to try to encourage more creativity from the younger generation of quilters that's coming up.
So how many quilt patterns do you think you have right now, and how are you selling them?
That's hard to say because so on Kiley's Quilt Room, I have about, I think, 10 patterns that I sell, and they're digital PDF downloads. So you purchase the PDF and then you'll get a download. But then for Modish Quilter magazine, I also write 4 to 8 patterns a year just for that. And those are exclusive to the magazine. So you can only get those through the magazine issues, which you can either subscribe to or purchase individual issues to get the patterns in them.
What made you decide to do the digital magazine?
So many of you, maybe some of you have heard of the pattern writing course that Elizabeth Chappell does every year. So I was one of the first to take her class a couple of years ago. And it was super in depth. It was really great. It really gave me the confidence that I needed to move forward with both of my businesses. But that's where I got the idea for Modish Quilter, because in one of the week's lessons, she gave us a list of different quilting magazines and publications that we could reach out to offer our patterns for an issue to be published. And as I was going through, she kind of encouraged us to reach out to the one that most spoke to us and felt like our niche. And so I was going through all of these magazine publications, and of course, there are many lovely ones out there, but I just didn't feel like there were any that really truly fit what I would want out of a magazine, a quilting magazine. And so that kind of sparked my interest from the beginning. And I am just one of those people who hits the ground running without thinking twice, for better or for worse. And so I just kind of like I couldn't stop thinking about it and thinking that I can't be the only one out there who is looking for something and not finding it. And so I decided to create it. And so I really try to focus the magazine on the modern quilter's lifestyle. So it's not just quilting. We want to encapsulate what does the modern quilter's life look like and how can we be a part of it and building this community of quilters. And it's been so much fun to work on and to meet new people through, and it's just been really, really fun.
Okay, so tell me, like, what does an article look like in your magazine? So if I were to go purchase it's a subscription, correct?
Yeah.
So if I went to buy it, and it sounds like it's a quarterly, like what kind of things would I find in it? Patterns or
Yeah.
lifestyle? Tell me a little bit about that.
So we obviously have patterns because it is a quilting magazine. So we do have quilt patterns in it. We usually have four like large quilt size pattern, regular quilt size patterns, a small project or small quilt like wall hanging for decor, something like that. Or we've done table placemats and so big patterns, small patterns or projects. We usually have a tutorial of some sort that goes along with the theme because each issue has a different theme. So, for example, our last issue was all about shapes. So the theme was getting into shape, and each of our patterns had different shapes. So one was like a full hexagon pattern, and you learn how to do Y seams. And then we did a tutorial on bias binding so that you could make the edges of your quilt different shapes and not just your regular straight. So we had like scallops and curves and then for articles in the issue, we like to focus on anything related. So we had one issue that talked about getting it into mental shape for new projects, for starting new projects, and broke it down into different steps that you can take to help get you in the right mindset for a new project. We also had an article about shape composition and how different shapes make us feel different things or think different things, and how we can incorporate that into our design, or for the maker, how you can change colors and shapes and choose colors and shapes out of different patterns to make what you're really feeling.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, what I'm hearing is that you attract a beginning quilter because it kind of sounds like more intermediate if you're really digging into technique.
We do both. There are definitely, I would say it's beginner through intermediate is most of the things that we have. We very rarely have anything super difficult, because I am focusing more on the modern quilter, and typically they are younger, and which means they haven't been doing it as long. And so yeah, we do gear most of our projects and patterns for beginner to intermediate.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So, I also heard you say that you are developing an app. Tell me about that.
Yes, so that's for Kiley's Quilt Room. I am doing working on an app that is a journaling app for quilters and makers. And I'm really excited about it. It will hopefully will be done by the end of the year. But basically it's going to be a digital journaling app, and you can upload pictures and your thoughts and feelings on the process and the different techniques that you used, if you gifted it, and basically just to keep track of everything you've made. I for one have a lot of quilts, and I can't remember when I made them, or like it did, and all the ones that I've gifted to people, and I wish that I had kept track of all of those things. So I'm gonna, once the app is done, I'm gonna try to retroactively fill it all in. But there will also be like a community page where you can get inspiration from others who have completed other projects, and you can look and favorite different items. Like maybe you see a pattern that somebody else made that you'd like to try, in the future, so you can favorite it and save it and come back to it later. So I'm really excited about that. There's going to be a lot of cool changes in the future, and like point two version.
What I really like is that you really do focus in on the quilter's process. I mean, basically, what I'm hearing is like I mean, it's a historical reference, right? It's like a true journal diary of your quilts and anything that around it. And if you gifted them, I think that's really, really cool. I have also made a ridiculous number of quilts, and I have no idea where they all are. Zero. Like some of them are in like, my actual, like my kids use and stuff, but then we have some that we use for just display, like the Halloween and the Christmas quilts tend to only come out once a year, right? And then all the ones we've of course gifted, or any of the ones we've done for a line, and then those end up in quilt shops, and I usually see them again, but like sometimes I forget about them. Like a couple years ago, I'll be like, oh, I forgot about that quilt. That's amazing. So that is really cool and different than what I thought you were going to say. I wasn't expecting you to say that's what you were going to do in your app, that you were going to sell your patterns on your app or whatever. But like, that is really cool. It's like a diary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a diary, and digitally. I mean, everything moving forward is looking digital, for me, I'm looking at the quilting industry like, how can I help modernize the quilting industry, and what can I do? How can I fill gaps as we move forward and become, going forward into the future? We are for Modish Quilter magazine, we are developing also an app on that side to host our magazine. So just so it's easier and more convenient to look at and download. But that just makes sense. It fits in line with the magazine and being digital and modern and everything like that. So, so two apps for two different businesses.
I think that is so good and so forward facing, because so I have two apps and I just don't know anybody else in the industry who does. Not manufacturers, not anything. It's really, I just like, so I thought that was really intriguing when you started saying that you were going to have an app, because I really don't know other people who have apps who are in this industry. So cool. What I like about you is like, you were talking about, like kind of the value you would like to bring to the industry, how you would like to change it, how you would like to update it. That is so business forward thinking. What makes you think that way? Why go ahead? Like you could just quilt, right? Just be a regular quilter, maybe sell some patterns, but like, why are you thinking about how you can add value and how you can modernize the industry? Like what got you on that process?
That's a good question. I mean, I could go way back. And I think that part of that desire, I guess, was instilled in me by my dad, who was an entrepreneur. And he always was, in high school, he was always asking me, well, like, how can we do this better? Or how can we do that better? And so something, just a little sneak into my past, my dad did not like the dress options for like homecoming and prom. He thought, he was like, whoa, that's not gonna fly. So he was like, well, how can we provide options that are a little more tasteful and still, trendy. So anyway, my dad and I ended up opening up our own little dress boutique in our basement while I was in high school. And so it just kind of was, there was a problem. We saw a problem and we decided to do something about it. It was just something that he taught me from a very young age, that, if you see a problem, think about how you could fix it. How can you make it better? And then do it. And I do think too, though, that there is a certain element of risk and fear that comes with starting a business, that many people aren't able to jump that hurdle. And so I don't know if that is something that is broken in my brain, but or if it's a plus, but I do think that there's a certain element of fear and risk that you're willing to take on when you start a new business. And it's okay to feel that fear and risk. But being able to push past it and, have a plan and be ready for, whatever comes comes ahead, I think are really key ingredients in starting a new business.
I love it. The fear and the risk, I think, and then you just talked about pushing past it. So much to me is about recognizing that fear is actually also excitement, right? Like those feelings really do actually come together. And so that excitement is usually why people kind of push forward to the next step. Okay, that is a really cool story about your dad and you like opening up a boutique in the basement. So amazing.
Yeah,
Kiley,
he was so great.
and entrepreneurial, right? Like got your wheels going. Kiley, it's been so fun to have you on. If people want to find you, where's the best way for them to get on the magazine or check out your quilt patterns or what you're up to?
Yeah, so my personal patterns for Kiley's Quilt Room are at kileysquiltroom.com, or you can find me on Instagram, also Kiley's Quilt Room. And then for the magazine, it's Modish Quilter. That's MODISH Quilter. And that's on Instagram and our website, modishquilter.com. And if you're not wanting to, jump the gun and subscribe, that's okay. We have a free sampler issue that you can take a look and get a feel for what our full-size issues are like before you commit. And then you can also purchase individual issues as well to get a feel for our full-size issues. So there's lots of content inside each of those issues and a theme for each issue. And it's a lot of fun to put together.
So amazing. Thanks so much, Kiley. I hope you guys have a chance to go check that out. And I will see you guys all very soon. Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.